Joe Biden is preparing edicts to take a stand against the Trump era on the first day of his term in office. Meanwhile, the incumbent president has announced more lawsuits for presidential election. He does not comment on the escalating corona pandemic. Future US President Joe Biden wants to reverse various political decisions made by Donald Trump on the very first day in the White House. "We have big plans for day one," said Biden's chief of staff, Ronald Klain, on US television. These included a return to the Paris Agreement, protection for young migrants in the US, and healthcare measures. Biden can initiate this after taking office on January 20th by decree. Trump, meanwhile, makes it clear that he has no intention of admitting defeat in the presidential election. He tightened his allegations about alleged election fraud and announced further lawsuits on Monday night. In addition, Trump's campaign team showered his supporters with calls for donations for the legal battle. "Our big cases will soon be filed showing the unconstitutionality of the 2020 election and the atrocities that were perpetrated to change the outcome," Trump wrote on Twitter. The previous lawsuits have had little success in court. Authorities also described the choice as the safest so far. The corona situation in the USA is meanwhile getting more and more out of control. The mark of 11 million infections was exceeded on Sunday. 1 million cases were added in just 6 days. Several states tightened corona measures such as mask requirements and the closure of some shops over the weekend. In Michigan, restaurants are initially only allowed to sell outside the home, and those who can should work from home. Trump's currently preferred corona advisor Scott Atlas, a radiologist, tweeted, "That only ends when people get up." Atlas opposes such restrictions and questions the usefulness of masks. The tweet was also explosive because just a few weeks ago a group was arrested who, according to investigators, wanted to kidnap and possibly kill Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer because of previous corona measures. Atlas later wrote that he did not want to incite violence. Biden's future government wants to avoid broad lockdowns in the fight against the pandemic through targeted measures. "We have approaches with the precision of a scalpel instead of the brute force of an axe," emphasized Vivek Murthy, one of the co-heads of the Biden Coronavirus Expert Council, the TV broadcaster Fox informed us. Renowned US immunologist and corona expert Anthony Fauci said the Trump administration's refusal to recognize Biden's election victory also hampered future activities in the fight against the pandemic. The GSA agency is still not giving Biden's transition team the green light to work with government agencies. "For the ongoing work of the coronavirus working group in the White House, it would be better if they could already work with Biden experts," said Fauci on CNN. "Trump has not attended the working group's meetings for months," said Fauci. Trump played golf Saturday and Sunday and tweeted about the presidential election. On Monday night, he appeared to appeal in the US Supreme Court. "Those responsible for protecting our Constitution must not let the fake results of the 2020 postal vote stand," he wrote. Trump had placed particular emphasis on bringing the conservative judge Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court shortly before the presidential election, also with a view to possible proceedings around the election result. The conservatives, the Republicans, now have a majority of 6 of 9 judges there. 3 of them were appointed on Trump's proposal. The lawyers of the president also weakened a lawsuit against the result of the presidential election in the important state of Pennsylvania. They deleted the allegations that when the votes were counted, Trump side observers violated constitutional rights, and on the other hand got their constitutional rights to watch everything violated as well. Trump's lawyers wanted to invalidate several 100,000 Pennsylvania votes on this basis. The allegation remains that Trump's Republican voters were disadvantaged in Pennsylvania because some districts with a Democratic orientation were allowed to correct mistakes in the ballot papers. Pennsylvania brings 20 votes from electoral voters. 270 votes are required for the victory. Biden got 306 in the election. It remained unclear whether the partial withdrawal in Pennsylvania is an admission of a legal impasse or just a reorganization. In view of the corona pandemic, many Americans, especially Democrats in large cities, voted by letter. Since in several states these documents were only counted after the ballot papers from the polling stations, Trump was initially in the lead and was then overtaken by Biden. In Arizona, however, there was the opposite development. Trump caught up with the counting of the postal vote, but Biden still won the state by a narrow margin. And if you now want to know more about global politics and news, YouTube has chosen another of my videos right here for you on the end screen, right next to the subscribe button, which I hope you use. I'll see you in my next video. Click and enjoy. Viel Spaß!